My hometown in Vietnam was small, so everybody knew everybody, and that went for restaurants as well. If you were good, people would come from word of mouth very quickly. My mom and I used to frequent this family eatery that was just off the street. They had a very small space for indoor sitting. It could possibly sit 5 people max. So they also had outdoor sitting. And by outdoor sitting, I mean low tables with squatting chairs, but those were the best seats in the house. My favorite memory was sitting under the shade of a tree on a cool summer afternoon enjoying aromatic chargrilled pork over rice noodle dressed with umami-filled fish sauce and topped with fresh herbs and leafy vegetables. So I want to recreate the memory and share that dish with you today. These are the ingredients for the pork. You need spring onion, lemongrass, garlic, red onion, sliced pork, sugar, soy sauce, fish sauce, condensed milk, and oyster sauce. For the pickled vegetables, you need salt, carrot, kohlrabi, sugar, and vinegar. You'll also need bean sprout, rice vermicelli noodle, and mint. For the dressing sauce, you need half a cup of water, lemon, garlic, sugar, and fish sauce. Let's prepare the pork first. I'm using sliced pork shoulder, but you can use sliced pork belly as well. Slice them thinly into about this big. Your butcher can also slice them for you as well if you ask them. With the lemongrass, bruise the root first before chopping them to help release the flavor when you cook. You'll want to chop them as finely as you can because you don't want big tough chunks of lemongrass in your pork. Peel and chop 2 garlic cloves. Peel and chop the red onions. You can also use the small red onions as well. Next up is the spring onions. Chop them into small pieces like this. We will be making spring onion oil for topping with these. Let's marinate the pork. Add your chopped lemongrass, garlic, red onions, then add a tablespoon of condensed milk. Using condensed milk will help tenderize the pork as the enzymes in the milk will break down the protein in the pork and make it tender, but you can also replace this with double the amount of sugar instead. Then add the soy sauce, oyster sauce, and fish sauce in. Finally, add a tablespoon of sugar or 2 depending on whether you use the condensed milk or not. Use your hand to mix everything well together. You can also use a fork or chopsticks, but I recommend using your hands. Then add about a tablespoon of oil and mix well. When you're done, cover and put in the fridge for half an hour or 24 hours in advance. Next, let's make the sauce. You can put everything in a bowl and mix it up, but I found it is easier for the sauce to mix properly if you do it in this order. Mix the fish sauce, sugar, garlic, and stir well. You can add chili as well if you want this to be a little bit spicy. Then add some lemon juice. Lastly, slowly add in the water and stir as you do. Give it a taste halfway through to gauge how much more water you want. You're looking for a balanced flavor of sweet, sour, and salty, but mildly strong and not too diluted because this will season the rice noodle and vegetables. Next, let's make pickled vegetables. This is one way to julienne the carrot. Check out my yakisoba video for another method to do this. Next, let's peel the kohlrabi. This vegetable is actually from the same family as the cabbage, but if you cannot find it in your local grocer, you can skip it as well. Julienne the kohlrabi to be around the same size as the carrot. Mix them with 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 tablespoon vinegar, and half a teaspoon of salt, and let it sit for a few minutes. That's it. This is a quick pickle you can make anytime to go with a lot of dishes. It's refreshing to eat with grilled pork because it helps to cut through the savory, fatty flavor of the pork. Let's cook the rice noodle. If you can find fresh rice noodle, then use that because that's the best option. But if you cannot, like me, dry rice noodle is great too. Boil some water in a pot first. Once the water starts to boil, add the noodles in and cook for about 5 to 8 minutes. Stir occasionally so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Strain the noodle and immediately rinse with cold water to stop the cooking process, and the heat shock will also help keep the noodle firm and elastic. Next, let's make some spring onion flavor oil. Heat up some oil in a pan until the oil is warm. Add the spring onion and stir for a few minutes until it's softened and releases the flavor to the oil. The traditional and the best way to cook the pork is to chargrill, but if you don't have time or you don't want to spend a few hours with the charcoal, then you can also grill them in your oven. Set your oven to grill and preheat to 200 degrees Celsius or 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Grill for about 4 to 6 minutes depending on the thickness of your pork slices. While we wait for the pork to cook, it's snack break. I found this special Halloween edition apple pie flavor Kit Kat, and they are quite amazing. They actually taste like apple pie. Once the pork is cooked, take them out of the oven and let them rest for about 3 minutes. To serve, put everything in a bowl with the exception of the sauce, which will be served on the side for pouring over when eaten. I hope you liked the recipe. Send me some photos if you make it, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.